Okay, this is a short 5-minute video of the written history of the Majestic Theater. Okay, in 1809, the Bank of Chillicothe was built, and then that part of the building was used as the original theater that hosted plays and other stuff like that in the bank. And then whenever the bank had relocated around the 1830s, the Freemasons bought the old bank and they turned it into a meeting hall. And then in 1852, April Fool's Day, the new building had burnt down. So then the Masons had bought up the property again and then rebuilt the hall into a bigger area. And then in 1853, the Masonic Opera House was opened, which is the original name of the Majestic. That was, what am I saying? It was used for opera, uh, paintings and stuff like that. And then in 1876, they had contracted a artist by the name of Mr. John F. Cook and paid him $1,000 to do the ceiling of the new opera house, and it caused them to not have much money for seating, so they had to use some old ones. In 1885, Minnie Mattern and Richard Mansfield appeared in a play in which all the admissions were 25, 35, and 50 cents at the matinee, and 25, 35, 50, and 75 cents for the evening performance. In 1895, it was the first building in Chillicothe to ever have electricity, and in which they used the electricity for red, green, blue, and white bulbs, and is actually used to sell electricity to the local city for a short amount of time. In 1896, it also had the first ever moving picture in Chillicothe. And then in 1904, A.R. Wolf actually bought up the theater. Well, I guess the company owning the theater. He then made the stage even bigger, built in even more seats, and then added stained glass to the windows, and then also added some more safety features such as fire escapes. And then later, in 1915, the three brothers had bought up the theater and then renamed it to the Majestic Theater. And then in 1918 is whenever they added the arch right here with neon lights. And during 1918 as well, the 1918 pandemic, the influenza, was turned the building into a temporary morgue to hold all the excess bodies, and they would actually use dressing rooms to stack up the old bodies, and then they throw the blood and other bodily fluids out into the alley right next to it, giving it the name Blood Alley. And then in 1971, the Majestic had new owners, in which they received a lot more renovations, which included some new wall paintings, some new seatings, new front doors, restrooms, and upgrades to the lobby. Overall was an upgrade. And in 1990, it was bought up by another organization, in which it received new wiring, fire, and safety security systems. And then heating and cooling systems were installed, which would help the historic building from degrading later on. Let's see. And then most recently, in 2023, it actually installed an HVAC system because the old heating and cooling system wasn't really helping with the degradation. And in some of the photos you can see in the virtual museum, you could see from where the museum's old heating and cooling system really didn't help with the upkeep. It made the walls on all the original paintings that are incredibly old and historic be damaged because of the uh, not so well made and well kept AC. all that, and that is my 5-minute video.